The exams issue, I think it's fair to say that there is lots of hurt and anger at the downgrading we've seen today. One frustrated teacher has told Radio Clyde that it's a shambles and has questioned how someone at the SQA can know their students better than they do. So how do you respond to claims that teachers have been treated with contempt? And secondly, in response to Kieran's question, you're pointing towards the appeals process, but if someone has no confidence in how the result was awarded in the first place, how can they have confidence in the appeals process?
Well, again, I would reject absolutely any notion that teachers have been treated in the way you have described there. To go back to a point the Deputy First Minister made, I think, in his opening remarks, 3/4 of all grades have not required any moderation. But they're required to be a system of moderation in order to give an added level of assurance that the results this year were credible, because that's important for young people. And I'll go back to the point that I made earlier on. If I look at, if you take the 20% most deprived, the estimates would have it to 85.1% of young people passing hires. Now, I desperately want to get to a position in Scottish education where 85% of young people in these categories pass hires. But last year it was 65.3. The year before that, in fact, the 3 years before that, it was around 68. Now, if we had said today that 85% had passed compared to those figures, all of the questions we'd have been getting here today, I think with some credibility, is how have you managed in 1 year to have that increase? Now, what that says is that system of moderation was necessary. Now, the point I will readily make is that it's easy for me to stand here because I want to make sure that the results, even although they've not been based on exams this year, are going to be credible and recognised so that young people have the confidence of that. But it's easy for me to talk about that in an overall sense. For any individual young person who feels disappointed by the results, that process of appeal is there and it is important. And I think we've got to make sure that young people have that confidence of being able to take advantage of that.
Thanks, First Minister. I would simply reiterate the point that in 3 out of every 4 of the teacher estimates that have come forward have been sustained by the SQA process. So they have required no moderation, no change whatsoever. But what we had to make sure is that young people in 2020, in receiving their qualifications, would be able to demonstrate that their qualifications were robust, that they had been fairly awarded and appropriately awarded by the SQA. Now, I accept that that is a difficult message to put across, but fundamentally it shouldn't disguise the fact that within these results there is a very strong performance by young people in a very good set of results where we've seen the pass rate at National 5, at Higher and at Advanced Higher all increase. But what we've had to make sure is that those increases were credible within the standards set by the SQA, and that's exactly what's been deployed in this set of results.
And that's a point not to lose sight of, and I know it doesn't give any comfort to a young person who is disappointed today, but the pass rates are up. So performance has improved, even taking account of that process of moderation. And I guess the other point to make is, you know, like so much of what we're dealing with in COVID right now, we wish we weren't in this position. I wish fervently, with everything I've got, that young people had been able to sit their exams as normal this year. That wasn't possible. And therefore, what we have done is put in place a system that I know will cause concerns for people who are disappointed, but a system that allows us to look young people in the eye and say your results are credible and you deserve to feel proud of them, and if you're disappointed in them, you deserve to have the opportunity to put forward evidence and have that process tested. Jack Foster from Global.